Hello, and today I want to talk to you about Avulux, a fantastic product for all of those people who suffer from migraine or migraine-based light sensitivity. And really, in my practice, I'm finding that my post-concussion patients who also have light sensitivity, who act like migraine patients with their light sensitivity, Avulux is a fantastic product for them as well. So Avulux is the only clinically proven lens for patients living with migraine and light sensitivity. And I want to talk to you about that lens today. So to date, Avulux has helped over 35,000 people who live with migraine and migraine-based light sensitivity. So do you experience migraine or light sensitivity? If you do, you are one of about 6 million Canadians that live with migraine. And if you look at migraine prevalence, almost 15% of patients, almost 15% of people in the general public live with migraine disease. 1 billion people worldwide and over 6 million people in Canada live with migraine. Migraine has effects, it has impacts, it affects your life on a daily basis. It has physical impacts. It can give you wicked head pain, marked light sensitivity, nausea, and vomiting. 24% of people that live with migraine report having headaches so bad that they actually sought care at the emergency department. So physically, it can make you feel absolutely terrible with amazing head pain. But migraine also has social impacts because you're going to avoid things because you don't feel well, because you have a terrible headache, you have a migraine, you have wicked light sensitivity. You're going to miss family events. You're going to have less time with your children. And actually, 77% of people that live with migraine say that they have less time with their children than they want to. But this darker side from an economic standpoint is that with migraine, you can be missing work and there will be economic impacts from that. So you're going to miss work. You could have days off of school. There'll be unpaid time off. There will be doctor's visits, which may have some costs associated with that. And up to 55% of people say that migraine has actually impacted their career goals. So migraine is real, migraine is prevalent, and migraine has significant impacts to the patient experiencing it. For doctors out there, 1 in 7 patients in your practice suffers from migraine. So this is something that we hear about a lot, that we can dive into and talk about a lot. And as optometrists, we now have a tool that we can use to help those patients. With our migraine patients, light sensitivity is easily the #1 bothersome symptom. 90% of people experience light sensitivity during a migraine attack. 40% of people who have migraine are actually constantly light sensitive. Whether or not they're in a migraine attack or not, they still have light sensitivity. And for some of these patients, that light sensitivity can be one of their triggers to a full-blown migraine headache. And on that note, 30 to 60% of migraine attacks are triggered by light and glare. So if we can control that light, if we can control the glare, if we can control the light sensitivity, we are going to make a significant impact on the lives of these patients. So let's talk about how Avulux works. So in 2010, it was found that in the retina, there is a subset of cells called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. And the activation of those cells has been linked to the pain that patients feel from their light sensitivity. In that study, they found that those cells are sensitive to certain wavelengths of light. So white light, because it includes all wavelengths of light, blue, amber, and red light all increase, so drive up the headache pain intensity. Whereas there was a very specific wavelength of green light that actually decreased that headache pain intensity. So what Avulux does is it filters those wavelengths the way that they should be. So we're going to filter up to 97% of that harmful or painful blue, amber, and red wavelength, and we're going to let through 70% of that nice, soothing green wavelength. So that's how Avulux works. Avulux is more than just a tinted lens. It is a very specific lens filter. So you can't just take another lens and tint it to look the same as an Avulux. That tint isn't a filter in the way that Avulux is, so you're not going to get the same effect. If you compare Avulux to what other lenses might be used, so there's a lens called FL41. That again decreases the light. That lens was designed to decrease in light sensitivity from fluorescent lights very specifically, and it does help some patients, but not nearly to the extent of Avulux. And it certainly does not have the research behind it that says that it decreases the sensitivity as much as Avulux does. Blue light filtering lenses only filter out some of the blue. Again, not the other wavelengths that we need to cut out, and certainly does not let through the specific green that we want to let through in a way that maximizes the effect of that lens. And then a lot of migraine patients just throw on sunglasses because they need to just block the light and block the glare and block the sensitivity. And that's just blocking all wavelengths really effectively, equally, but it is not blocking specifically the ones that are harmful, and it certainly isn't letting through that green wavelength that makes patients feel better. So if we look at patient successes, 90% of patients who wear Avulux actually admit and say that it helps them get through their day. So filtering the light allows them to continue living. Yes, they may still have their headache. Yes, they still may have their migraine. Yes, they still may be a bit light sensitive, but wearing the lens lets them get through their day so that they can still function. They can still be with their kids. They can still go to work. They can still have a productive day. These lenses are available in what we call single vision, so just distance vision, just reading vision. We can have anti-fatigue lenses, which are distance vision with a little bit of reading help. We can do an office lens, which is really a lens for indoor space based off of computer and reading, or we can do a full progressive, which is distance, some computer, and reading. So we have lots of lens options available to use in this Avulux filter. When we look at how patients do with this lens, 96% report a decreased light sensitivity. 95% say they get less pain from light. 93% admit that they can spend more time with family and friends. 96% would recommend Avulux to a friend or a colleague, and 71% say they have fewer migraine days when using the Avulux lens. So, if you experience migraine and migraine light sensitivity, how do we use this lens? Well, you can use this in an acute way where you're going to use it when you are experiencing a migraine. When you are experiencing migraine light sensitivity, you can wear it for those times only and help mitigate and decrease the symptoms that you feel. You can also use it as a preventative tool. So if you experience headaches more than 15 times a month, or if you experience migraines and migraines with light sensitivity more than 8 times a month, you can choose to just wear this lens full time. Remember, a lot of these migraine attacks are triggered by light. So if we can wear this lens more often to full time, we're going to decrease that light sensitivity and hopefully decrease the number of migraines that you experience. So again, Avulux is a fantastic tool for our patients with migraine, for our patients with light sensitivity due to migraine, but in my experience, also our patients with light sensitivity from other reasons and light sensitivity post-concussion. Those patients do really, really well with Avulux. So if you think this is a lens that you might consider, that you would like to experience, call your optometrist, see if they have Avulux, and go and try it, and then find out if Avulux is a lens that's going to help you and your migraine and migraine light sensitivity.